It is that time of the month again. We are going to have a TBR prompter pick my reads for the month of November. So I am still kind of Halloween-y back here, which I'm filming this on October 30th, so it's fine. Which means that my TBR prompts are still in a cauldron. But if you watched the last video, I really like the cauldron, so we're gonna keep the cauldron for this month. I am going to pick 6 books for the month. There's already a couple that I know I'm going to be reading in November, so the first thing I'll be reading in November is Legendary, which is book 2 in the Caraval series because I'm currently reading it. I'll probably also be reading Finale, which is the 3rd book in the Caraval trilogy because I like to read series straight through. So that's already 2 books, and I really want to read Iron Flame like as soon as possible when it comes out, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing, and that comes out November 7th, so I'm probably gonna drop everything to read that, but we're still gonna pick 6 books. We'll see what happens. Without further ado, I have all my TBR books on this shelf behind me here, and then I have a couple on my Kindle that I always forget about, so we'll see if I end up reading any of those this month. Okay, the first one is a book with blue on the cover. I have no idea if you can read these. So, a book with blue on the cover. I'm immediately seeing one. We have... This might be our only option. I actually also think I have the fine prints on my Kindle, which if I'm not mistaken has a blue cover. Obviously you can't tell on the Kindle because everything's black and white. So I'll say we have 2 options here because I'm pretty sure the fine print is blue. If it's not, editing me will complain. I think I'm gonna pick The Wake Up Call. I bought this very recently. If you watch my most recent book haul video, it's really floppy, which I like. And this is by Beth O'Leary, who is the author of The Flat Chair, which I read earlier this year and I loved it. So I loved her writing style, so I'm very excited to read this. And I'm pretty sure this is kind of like holiday vibes, which is perfect for November. So this is about 2 people who work at a hotel, and then during the busiest season they have to put their differences aside because they don't get along very well and see through keeping the hotel afloat, basically. The race is on for Izzy and Lucas to save their beloved hotel and their jobs. And as their bitter rivalry turns into something much more complicated, Izzy and Lucas begin to wonder if there's more at stake here than the hotel's future. Can the 2 of them make it through the season with their hearts intact? So it's like a holiday rom-com. Sounds like a little bit of enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes. So I'm excited to read this. Okay, let's pick our next book. I'm already ready to read holiday books. I know some people are very anti like Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving, but I'm Canadian and Thanksgiving is in the beginning of October, so there's nothing in my way. Okay. Ooh, a book with a number in the title. I don't know if I have one of these. Let's see. Oh, that's not true. I have one. Okay. We have One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I think this is our only option, which is fine. I'm very excited to read this. I have only read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, so I've been really wanting to read more of their work because I love their writing in that book. And this is like kind of a magical romance. It's about 23-year-old August who on the subway one day sees a girl named Jane, and she discovers quickly that Jane is from the 1970s, and August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. It's a queer romance with like time travel and stuff. It sounds amazing, so I'm very excited to read this. I really hope we get some fantasy in here, although I guess the 3 books I listed already that I'm gonna be reading no matter what are fantasy, so like I don't need to be that dramatic. Ooh, a book with a 1-word title. I also don't know if we have an option for this. But I always say that and then I find one. But I'm pretty sure I actually don't have one. That's kind of sad. I mean, okay, you know what? This is kind of cheating, but I think I'll pick Finale as my 1-word title book because I know I'm gonna end up reading it anyway, so I might as well add it to the list. So that is the 3rd book in the Caraval series, which is about Scarlett and Tella, who are sisters, and they go to this magical carnival called Caraval that is put on by this like enigmatic magical wizard person named Legend, and nobody like knows anything about him, but he puts this carnival game on every year that runs for 5 nights, and you compete with a bunch of other people to win a very special magical prize. And it's been very magical and fun to read, especially this time of year. So that'll be my 3rd book. Okay, let's see. Book by a Canadian author. Okay, see, this prompt has done me dirty in the past, if you remember. Here's the thing, I might have a book by a Canadian author. I don't know. I might have to Google. 1 second. We do not have any Canadian authors. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I said that so Canadian. I noticed that once when I was editing. Now I can't unhear it. Sorry. We're picking another one. A book that you keep almost reading or buying. We're not gonna do buying because I don't need to buy more books and I don't need an excuse to buy more books because I will take it. So a book that I keep almost reading. I think there's two-ish options here, and I've had them both in previous TBR videos, so like it's happening often. And that is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I still have not read even though the movie's coming out in November, and I was gonna read it before the movie, but now I'm like, maybe I should just watch the movie first. I don't know, tell me if that's a crime. And I also have Love in Other Words, which I really do want to read. I really want to read it. And this was on one of my TBRs this year, I can't remember which one. And I just feel like this is a summer book. Okay, you know what? For the third time, we are going to put A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes on my TBR. Yell at me if I don't read this because it's too long. It's been on my TBR too long. And I actually do want to read it before I watch the movie. I don't know if I'm going to, but I would like to. If you don't know, this is a Hunger Games prequel about President / Cornelius Snow and when he was younger and he was a mentor in the games and he's a terrible person, and this is like him slowly becoming a terrible person, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. Okay, I picked 4 books. We're gonna pick 2 more. I lost track because one's on my Kindle and I keep forgetting. Let's see. Ooh, okay, a book you think will be a 5-star. Okay, I actually have a few options for this. I think, I don't know. Okay, I think Iron Flame would be a 5-star, but I feel like that's cheating because that book's not even out yet, so I'm not gonna do that. I feel like maybe Once Upon a Broken Heart would be a 5-star, but I gave Caraval 3.5 stars, so like maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. But I also recently got Divine Rivals, and I feel like this could be a 5-star because I'm a sucker for fantasy romance, which is why I feel like both of these could be 5 stars. But I've heard like mixed-ish reviews about this one. Like I've heard people that loved it and then people were like, this was okay. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Divine Rivals. I'm pretty sure this is a standalone. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's more coming out. This was literally just released in Canada, so I don't know that much about it. It is about gods that are warring and 18-year-old Iris who just wants to hold her family together. Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door where they vanish into the hands of a Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle. For her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. And it's described as an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak. So we're gonna go with this. I don't fully know if it'll be 5 stars, but I feel like it has a high chance. Our final book. Ooh, a book that matches the current season. Don't know if you can see that. I actually also really want to read Chalice of the Gods sometime this month, which is the new Percy Jackson book. I don't think it fits this prompt or any of the other prompts, but that's also on my list. We got a hefty TBR for November. I also need to read a lot more to hit my Goodreads goal because I'm like a book or 2 behind. A book that matches the current season. That could be like a fantasy book also, but I feel like I've now almost overloaded myself with fantasy. There's a lot here. Not that I'm complaining, but I'm thinking we're gonna go with The Dead Romantics, which is by Ashley Austen. This is about like a ghost romance, basically. It's about Florence, who is a ghostwriter for a prolific romance author in the industry, and after a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. So when her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension on her book deadline, she prepares to kiss her career goodbye. Then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive that she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. Her father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it, until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and he's just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. So I've been wanting to read this for a while, and I've heard pretty good things about this. I've heard really good things about The 7-Year Slip also by Ashley Austen, but I'm excited to read this. I probably said that about every single book, but I'm excited about every single book. So, recap, we have The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I'm gonna try so hard to read this, guys. This is not it, but Finale by Stephanie Garber, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Poston, I don't know, sorry. That's actually, I feel like, a pretty good like fall-y lineup of books. So I'm excited. Let me know what books you're gonna be reading this month. I love getting some new recommendations, even though I don't need to buy more books. I always want to buy more books. And if you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe down below for new bookish videos every single week, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!